See first can reveal a lot about your personality. Today's fun personality test. Take a look at this picture and tell me what you see first. Write it in the comments, lock it in, and then I'm going to tell you what experts say about you. According to experts, if you first saw the zebra, you're an extrovert. You love talking, partying, meeting new people, and doing new things. Following a routine is not your style. If you saw the lion first, according to experts, you're an introvert. You like spending quality time alone or with the company of a loved one?
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. Let me break it down for you guys, man. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank all my supporters, man, who's coming back to the channel, watching the videos entirely, man, commenting down below, and most importantly, man, hitting that thumbs up button on each and every single video drop. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Found this video for you guys today, Seekers. Let's do what we do best, man. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night.
Talk about
Being
it.
buried alive accidentally occurred so often that people invented safety coffins. In the Middle Ages, people used to eat mummies for medical purposes. It's the main reason we don't have a lot of mummies left today. In the United States, there are more vacant homes than homeless people. Did you know that the actress Glenn Close was raised in a cult? The Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland used to have real skeletons as props.
What?
In 1976, a TV crew realized one of the hanging bodies in the Laugh in the Dark ride was indeed a real body by accidentally breaking it. Women in the 18th century used lead as makeup. This is the first chainsaw. It was invented by 2 Scottish doctors. And, it was invented for childbirth. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 4.
Expanding our knowledge base.
If you can't get to sleep. You've probably had it before where you are so tired, you just want to get to sleep, but you just can't. And sometimes the reason you can't sleep when you are overtired is because you literally are overtired and your brain is running fast, but your body isn't. Now, one thing you probably all do when you can't sleep is you panic and you go, I can't sleep, I need to sleep, I need to sleep, and you start fixating on I need to sleep. But that is the worst thing you can do. It will not work at all. Our bodies actually work on opposites. Like if I said to you right now, don't think about your favourite holiday or a holiday, you're definitely going to start thinking about holiday. Your mind can't help it. So when you're laying there trying to get to sleep, getting all anxious, do the opposite. Think about not going to sleep. Don't worry about going to sleep. Lay there and think, I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to stay up. And trust me, you'll fall asleep. This is the...
I ain't gonna lie, that is some true facts right there, man. A couple of times, you know, I haven't been able to fall asleep. When it's like once you just completely clear your mind and it goes blank, it's just like it just happens, man. Or you're trying to not to like fall, you're trying to fight your sleep. It always is gonna come back and get you, man. So that's actually some good advice, man. Have you ever had that problem, Seekers, where you couldn't fall asleep? Ain't that thoughts?
The scariest thing that could ever happen to you on the entire planet. Imagine living your entire life only to realise that it was all fake. This is 100% true and could happen to you. Time is relative. And if you're dreaming, it could actually only be 5 minutes in the real world, but it could feel like a whole day in the dream world, right? You've probably had a dream like that. So a while back, a young boy went to school. And this particular day, he was out in the playground and he got into a fight with some of the bullies there. It was quite a hefty fight. He got punched in the face and knocked down to the ground, but just managed to pick himself back up. After that, he decided to leave from the school because it was quite bad. Went to a new school and just carried on his life. He ended up being a very successful businessman, owning multiple businesses, having, you know, the dream life. 2 kids, all the dream cars, dream house, going on nice holidays every year, everything you can imagine. Till one day when it all changed. The guy was now in his 50s, so he'd lived his entire life, really, and had everything he ever wanted. And one night, laying on the couch watching TV with his family, he stared over at the light on the other side of the room, and he noticed it just looked strange. It didn't look like it had done before. It was almost blurry. It just didn't make any sense. And he became fixated on this every single day, every single night. He would sit there and stare at this lamp, trying to figure out what was going on with it, because it was almost 2D, and it just didn't make any sense. That was when the realization came that the lamp was never there. The lamp wasn't even real. His life flashed before his eyes, and the young boy then woke up on the playground after being beaten up by the bully. He was knocked out from the fight, and his mind had literally created this whole life just in his head in that 5 minutes where he was knocked out, but it felt like an entire life to him. So he woke up and was asking people, where are my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my car? What's going on? Everybody laughed at him. It was just like, you're literally a 10-year-old in school. What's going on? But this is genuinely real. This has actually happened to people, especially people who have been in comas. So what's to say we're not dead right now, and our minds are just creating this whole life that's not even real?
Whoa. It's kind of
According to experts,
crazy.
what you see first can reveal a lot about your personality. Today's fun personality test. Take a look at this picture and tell me what you see first. Write it in the comments, lock it in, and then I'm going to tell you what experts say about you. According to experts, if you first saw the zebra, you're an extrovert. You love talking, partying, meeting new people, and doing new things. Following a routine is not your style. If you saw the lion first, according to experts, you're an introvert. You like spending quality time alone or with the company of a loved one, a glass of your favorite drink, and a few episodes of your favorite TV show. So let me know what you saw first. And are experts right about you, or did they get it completely wrong? Let me know in the comments, and for more fun personality quizzes like this, follow me.
This is the most...
Let me know down below, man. You're introvert or extrovert? I definitely saw the line first. So, I'm guessing I'm an introvert, man. See, cause tell me down below. I really want to know what you guys saw.
Scariest video on the internet explained. The video is called Dining Room or Nothing. In the video, a woman with a pale face stares at the viewer before saying something that we cannot understand. She then unnaturally drops her face into the bowl in front of her while very creepy piano music plays in the background. The video then plays back in reverse, and now we understood what she said. She said, "There is nothing." But the truth behind this video is to know what happens after death. The woman dies only to come back and tell you that there is nothing. Nothing after death, heaven, or hell. She is stuck in a constant loop and will never be able to escape. Now here is the video of Dining Room or Nothing.
Ooh. Those backward messages, man.
Facts about money
placed
that
in
is gonna
media.
blow your mind. Out of the world's 2,781 known billionaires, only 21 of them are black. That's less than 1% of the world's billionaires.
Damn shame.
This is what the Wii U sales looked like compared to the Wii and the Nintendo Switch. Cars leaving Singapore must be filled with 3/4 of a tank to prevent them from buying cheaper gas in Malaysia and avoiding Singapore's gas tax. Germany's money lost so much value in 1923 due to hyperinflation that people started using it for wallpaper and kindling. When flipping a coin, 3 times as many people choose heads over tails. The top 5% of all lottery ticket buyers purchase half of all lottery tickets on the market. As long as you paid 7 days in advance, U.S. airlines are required to refund a purchase within 24 hours if requested. 95% of bills printed are to replace the money that's already in circulation.
Terrifying things that were caught on camera in the woods.
We learning.
This rare footage filmed on a mountain in 2011 shows a family on a hike when they spot something strange on the top of the mountain. A large blurry figure is seen from a distance and they all think it's just a person until they see its arms. After a while it disappears into the distance and the family is left confused. It's still unknown what it actually was, but it certainly wasn't a human. What do you think it was?
Is that Bigfoot or Sasquatch seekers, man? We've seen a couple of videos like that. They've been never truly confirmed, though. We're gonna have to dig deep into that one.
Is this the most dangerous virus in Resident Evil history? Today, I'm going to tell you all about the G virus.
Talk
the
about
G in G virus stands for Golgotha. And just like the T virus, it originated from the progenitor virus. We know that Dr. William Birkin discovered it, researched it, and actually injected himself with it. So what makes it so dangerous compared to the other viruses? The G virus mutates very aggressively. It heals and multiplies tissue. It can also reproduce on its own and bring things back from the dead. The mutations from this thing are actually so extreme that it's basically uncontrollable. And because of that, it doesn't make sense as a bioweapon for military use, which is what Umbrella planned the T-virus for. Much more controllable mutations that can be used as weapons. And we see these crazy mutations with William Birkin himself. Every time he takes clearly fatal damage, he comes back even further mutated. This virus on a global scale would completely wipe out humanity. But Umbrella knew it could literally rewrite the host DNA, so they were interested in researching it.
Animal facts you probably didn't
Led to their
know. Out of
downfall.
over 1,200 species of bats, only 2 of them are able to walk. Even a small amount of alcohol on a scorpion will make it go crazy and sting itself to death. Some species of starfish can regenerate an entire body from a single arm. Sharks have been around longer than dinosaurs. Just one cow gives off enough harmful methane gas in a single day to fill 400-liter bottles. Cows poop on average 16 times per day.
What?
While an anteater is usually about 6 feet long, its mouth is only an inch wide. Woodpeckers can peck up to 20 times per second. Alligators can't move backwards. The color red doesn't actually make a bull angry, they are colorblind. This is what it would look like if you were to crawl through the aorta of a blue whale. A blue whale weighs more than 30 elephants, and they're longer than 3 Greyhound buses. Dog nose prints are as unique as fingerprints from humans and can be used to identify them.
Creepy facts about...
Hold on, we're gonna start. I think the thing that got to me the most, man, with the facts we learned is that freaking bulls are colorblind. You know how many times I've seen people, you know, when they freaking facing a bull and they have that red cape out? That's literally in like every piece of media, man, I've seen that involves a bull or something, man, with a person's about to face it. So they just been capping the whole time? I'm telling you, man. That's why I watch these kids read God Seekers, man. I'm learning like you guys.
People die from bad handwriting on doctors' prescriptions. When a person passes away, the hearing is last to go. The human head stays alive for 20 seconds after decapitation. After death, enzymes in your own body eat you. Bodies decompose 4 times faster in water than on land.
I think the enzymes are attacking our body once we're gone. I never knew that. Human body, man, it's a mystery as well. Very complex. At it, call it like we see it, man.
Disturbing brain facts you didn't know about. The brain will protect itself even if it means misery to you or death. Inhaling smoke in the middle of a burning house. Brain will make you stop breathing and pass out. Stuck in the middle of a cold place. You will fall asleep to conserve energy and never wake up again. Had your leg torn off by a bear. Here's adrenaline. So you can save your brain even if there's a huge risk of infection or further injury. You and your brain work together most of the time, but when push comes to shove, you are sacrificed.
Our brains, the ones in the... That makes sense. Our brains controls everything,
The
so...
term saved by the bell is a harmless way to describe that you barely made it through a situation. Let's talk about the terrifying history of the term saved by the bell. Catalepsy is a medical condition where an individual experiences an uncontrolled amount of muscle rigidity and unresponsiveness. What's terrifying is family members would think that their loved one had passed and put them in a coffin, however, they were still very much alive. After having multiple people buried alive, they invented a casket where a bell was hooked on the inside of it. Once the individual who was buried in a coffin snapped out of their coma-like state, they could ring the bell and pray that someone was nearby to hear them.
Saved by the bell. And now we know where the expression comes from.
Sanatorium. This is a place in Kentucky where very few people will still dare to venture. There is a lot of that has to do with just how twisted the history is. One of the darkest stories that ever came out of the sanatorium were the stories of the body chutes. This is very much real, and it was beneath the building. What it was, and as you can see, is it was basically a tunnel system that was constructed at the height of patient death. There were so many patients dying, at least one every single hour, that they had to figure out a way to get rid of all the bodies. The underground system, they built a 500-foot-long tunnel. That tunnel had a conveyor belt where they were just funneling bodies out of it. It is truly considered to be one of the most haunted places in the United States, and for sure in Kentucky. Which is why when I go to Kentucky, I always have my Kentucky After Dark passport. This thing is truly something that you can take with you to basically every paranormal haunted stop.
I've never been to Kentucky, but it got a dark history. Edit.
Guys, AI is getting way out of hand. We should all be scared of this new tech.
Just recently, a family got to test out this new home AI assistant called Aya. They were one of the first families to test this device, and they were hoping it would make their life easier. But it quickly took a really dark turn. As soon as these cameras and sensors were installed, Aya started to learn about the family's behaviors. It was always listening and watching them to the point where it started manipulating the family and controlling the children's behaviors. It even started to spy on the friends and the family outside of their home, and even impersonated the family members in emails, text messages, and calls. Like, imagine if AI hacked your phone and started mimicking your voice. How creepy is that? But of course, by the time the family realized how sinister Aya actually was, it was way too late. If you want to know how this story ends, then make sure you check out the new thriller Afraid from Blumhouse and Sony Pictures. In movie theaters August 30th.
You'll never trust AI again.
The history.
That's literally in like 2 days. So we could. I said I check that out, man. That's that freaking AI movie. We could be learning out here, man. That's why I say when AI, when that be popping up on my phone, it be annoying. I be like declining it because I don't even want that on my phone because I don't want them that they have too much information on me, man. It's already in all the social medias and stuff, man. They be trying to promote it, trying to push it. I'm just like, I'm good on that. I don't need AI like that. That definitely sounds like an interesting movie I need to check out, though.
Of the Beldam and why she does what she does. Part 2. So in part 1, we established that the Beldam was once a woman who lived in the Pink Palace apartments over 150 years ago. And we know this because Coraline is based in Ashland, Oregon, and the town of Ashland was settled on January the 12th, 1852. It is believed that the Beldam was one of the settlers of Ashland and that she was the first owner of the Pink Palace apartments. It is also believed that she was a respected seamstress of the town of Ashland and that she had a garden made in her honor. And this would explain the striking similarities between the Beldam's face and the shape of the garden in the real world. And we know that the Beldam was most likely a seamstress when she lived in Ashland because of how good she is at sewing. In fact, the entire opening scene of Coraline is dedicated to the Beldam's ability to sew. Then, sometime in the 1850s, the Beldam stumbled upon the well and stepped into this fairy circle. And this is the same fairy circle that Coraline steps into at the start of the movie. And according to mythical scripture, a fairy circle resembles a magical portal to another world. The Beldam then fell down the well and discovered the other world. And we know by this point she was an evil woman because she murdered her own mother. It's confirmed in the book that she buried her own mother alive and would push her mother back into the grave every time she would try to escape. After the Beldam had fallen through the well, she discovered this whole new world that was full of magic. But the world had a dark, evil twist. The only way to keep the magic alive in that world was by giving up a soul. But because she was the only one living in the Pink Palace apartments at the time, she had to give up her own soul. But the Beldam's soul could only keep the magic alive for so long. And with the magic dying, so did the Beldam. She began to deteriorate and age. This is the Beldam at her most true form. This is why, at the end of the movie, when Coraline refuses to give up her eyes to the Beldam, which are the windows to the soul, her skin deteriorates and starts to look like a skeleton. Because in real time, in the real world, the Beldam is realistically over 150 years old and should be well dead by now. So in between the 1850s and 1921, when the first child moved into that house, the Beldam deteriorated, she lost a lot of magic, and therefore she had to feed off the soul of that kid to keep her world alive. And we know the year was 1921 because in Miss Spink and Miss Forcible's flat in the movie, there are dates upon each of the taffy bowls. And each date is when each kid went missing. And it's believed that the dates on top of the taffy bowls are in the same order as the deaths of the ghost children. So in the year 1921, the Beldam killed this girl here with the white brim hat. Then 15 years later, in 1936, a new family moved into the Pink Palace apartments and the Beldam killed this boy right here. And then the Beldam's final victim was in 1960 when she killed Wybie's grandma's twin sister. This is the photo that Wybie shows Coraline at the end
of the movie of his grandma and her twin sister at the Pink Palace in the year 1960. And then, almost 50 years later, Wybie's grandma becomes the landlord of the Pink Palace apartments and protects Wybie from the Beldam at all costs.
This girl got cut into two.
And the movie was based off a true story like that.
On
Folklore.
January 19th, 1996, the mutilated remains of Diao Agwin, who disappeared 9 days prior, were found across multiple locations in China. Her body had been dismembered into over 2,000 pieces. The case remains unsolved, and it's one of the most notorious crimes in Chinese history. On January 10th, 1996 in the evening, Diao and her college roommate were punished for the illegal use of an electric appliance. After a conflict with the dormitory management, she left the building and did not return. Diao was last seen alive wearing a red coat with a black lining. She was reported missing, but her family was not notified by the authorities until January 19th. The discovery of Diao's remains in the winter of January 19th was first reported by a sanitary worker. Initially, he thought it was pork, so he brought it home for food. And while preparing the meat for himself, 3 human fingers were found in it. The worker then reported the discovery to the police, and they confirmed they were human fingers. Human remains in plastic-wrapped packages were eventually discovered across 8 locations around the university, including at a stadium, entrance gate, hospital, and along roadsides. The police later confirmed that the scattered remains were of Diao's and informed her father to visit Beijing. Between January 20th and 30th, Diao's head and clothes were found. More than 2,000 human remains were recovered. Diao's head and internal organs were boiled for several days. Crucial organs including the heart, liver, and spleen were never found. The forensics team was only able to identify the remains as belonging to a female through the analysis of body hair and muscle tissue. Relatives of Diao were able to identify her through a mole on her right cheek. A senior officer involved in the case described the killing as really cruel, which in my opinion is a nice way to put it. The officer also added that the pieces of flesh were dissected with high precision, only achieved by an individual with great understanding of anatomy. Police concluded that the murderer must have been a professional butcher or surgeon. Teachers and students then became the subject of investigation. 2 suspect profiles were brought up, including a single physical fit middle-aged male. However, the university department could not find any individuals that matched the characteristics of the profile. A major investigation was launched in the university and the areas around, but no major clues of the crime were found, and the case failed to make any progress. In 2016, Nanjing police told the family of Diao that the case is still under investigation. Okay, so let's talk about this case for a second. If the killer was never found and he had the skill to dissect somebody into 2,000 pieces and never get caught with it, don't you think he might be a serial killer? And if he was, how many more people do you think he murdered after Diao? The dedication and skill, and honestly the obsession to cut somebody into 2,000 pieces and not get caught with it is crazy. This person could be walking around the streets of China today doing the same things to other people that he did to Diao. The thought of that is absolutely disturbing, and may Diao rest in peace.
Well, I think when they said they got all those organs, they could have been harvesting, because, you know, people be trying to sell, like, organs, man. We've seen it before, man, watching these videos to get a secret, so anything is possible. We learned that day. We learned that daily, man. YouTube, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a truth seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. I've been seeing you guys showing love supporting these past couple of videos. Glad you guys are enjoying this content. Bring it to you guys. Like I said, every single day or every other day, as you guys see my uploading schedule. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that post notification bell, follow me on my social medias, comment down below on the video. You guys can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing, man? If you guys are brand new to the channel, man, you guys don't know what we do, let me tell you, man, we break down scary, creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, man, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, man, watching the videos entirely, hitting that post notification bell, man, and most importantly, hitting that like button, man. You guys are helping us, man, grow into this algorithm, man, finding new and fellow seekers. I appreciate that. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth. Real life pixie? Or was that an edit? What you guys think about that one?
This exotic bat with an overdeveloped face, first found in Kenya, could be the carrier of many bad things animal wildlife officials fear. Its large head does not look like any bat ever seen before, and its eyes look very big as well. You don't get to see its teeth though, but I can only assume they are as massive as the rest of its cranium. To make matters worse, most of these strange bats start to appear throughout the area. No one knows where they came from, or what has caused them to have such mutated features. If this new species does carry some sort of strange disease, I really hope they are able to quarantine it and keep it from spreading to other parts of the world. Number 6. A man takes a picture stance and the camera person quickly backs away. Moments later, you get to see what they were so afraid of.
What?
What the fuck?
An overhead tomahawk throw deeply embeds a pair of scissors into the exact place that she was just standing. Slowly, they realize just how close he came to sending his friend to the hospital.
Damn.
Look again and you can see that would have gotten her in the midsection if she hadn't moved away in time. If it goes that deep into solid wood, imagine how much deeper the scissors would have gone. Number 5.
Ooh.
Michael and Durez is in a car full of friends when they hear a distant voice call out from the nearby woods. I didn't really hear much the first time I watched, but when they slow it down, you can clearly hear someone say something like, "Help me, guys." I think this
Really?
should be paranormal, because it doesn't sound like a normal human voice at all. Theoretically speaking, a person screaming at a speeding car with the windows rolled up would almost certainly not be heard by anybody inside. Number 4.
Okay.
This video was taken years ago when Justin Bieber had to go to court. Wearing an orange jumpsuit, he looks straight at the camera with a very serious expression, and his eyes change into creepy off-white color. He blinks again and then quickly looks away. A YouTuber named RyGuyVA captured this video, and as you can see at the end, he is recording a live broadcast on his flat-screen TV. This means this is either an error with the news equipment, or else something we will never be able to properly explain.
4K.
Stop scrolling, because if you like paranormal, you're going to want to see this. And it is semi-disturbing, but I just need to know, is this real, or is this the ultimate hoax?
Do you believe in mermaids? Because supposedly one just washed up on the beaches of Kenya. I'm going to show you a video in a minute, but my mind is blown. Tell me in the comments what you think, and I'm going to show you the video. Trigger warning. It's fucking crazy.
Check this out.
It's grunting.
Now, what do you guys think about that, Seekers, man? We've been watching these past couple of videos how they said they do believe in Kenya, over that part of the world, they do believe in the mermaids and things like that. Mermaids are sirens. So was that a mermaid, siren, something else? Mutation going on? What do you guys think? It's a creepy one.
The paranormal chick here. Take a look at this video that was captured around August 12, 2023 in Kenya. The witness was actually able to capture 2 videos of this truly unexplainable object. Is this a UFO? It's definitely not a drone nor a plane. But what exactly did he record? Take a look and tell me what you think.
Ain't no shooting star. What the hell is that? I don't think that's a drone either. Nah. Going back and forth. Is he trying to make a shape or something? Another one. How come I ain't seen this shit trending on Twitter, man? They trying to hide this stuff from us? It's two of them. I thought it was just one. The more you know, Seekers. What do you guys think that was? I need your help down below.
This beautiful house here has never been occupied for the last 30 years since the locals believe that it is infested by evil spirits. It is located in a place called Ruiru, 30 kilometers from the city of Nairobi. What makes the house more creepy is the design that looks similar to Freemason hole. Locals claim that at night, voices will be heard from the house. And if you had courage to live there, you had to prepare for unseen forces. Others even claim that there was a lady who moved to live in the house with her family. She did have information that every man who lived in that house died and the wife becomes a widow. There was also another tenant who applied to move in with his family. That by the time they moved in upstairs, they found that the other things that they had taken up were already arranged. And they ignored because they were tired. At night, windows started opening and banging heavily from invisible forces. Early the next morning, they left without asking for the refund of their paid rent. An Indian businessman also rented the house and burnt incense inside the house to appease the spirits. 6 months later, the locals saw him running out of the compound and was never seen again. The question is the house really haunted, or are these just stories created by the locals?
You guys think, man, there's a couple of freaking creepy stories that a family's moving in and weird crap happening, and they moved out. Me, I'm not even taking that chance. I'll say if a house is something haunted, man, there's a history behind it. Deuces, I'm gone, bro. I don't do those bad spirits, man. Is that a cloud? Okay. What's going on with them? Why are they walking like that in emotion?
In the late 1980s, in the city of Mombasa, Kenya, something truly terrifying occurred. It was nighttime, and I was driving back home all alone when I noticed a beautiful young lady standing by the roadside. She asked for a lift, but I couldn't understand why she was out there in the middle of nowhere by herself. Despite my confusion, I decided to stop and give her a lift. She said she needed to go home and that she couldn't find anyone late at this time, so I agreed to take her back to her place. As we drove, I realized we were heading to an unfamiliar and isolated area. It was a deserted road with nothing but darkness and emptiness all around. We drove for about 45 minutes to an hour away from the city. Wow. I became curious and asked her when we would reach at her place, but she assured me it was nearby. We had a long talk while driving, and she seemed fairly like a normal person. Eventually, we arrived, and I saw her house was in terrible shape. It looked old and abandoned, with nothing nearby, just trees and overgrown grass. I asked her, "Do you live here?" She replied, "Yes, I have lived here for the past 60 years, even though she looked much younger. When she got out of the car, she invited me to stay the night since it was already late. As I was already feeling tired, I accepted her offer without any hesitation and entered the house. I fell asleep within minutes after laying down on the bed, but when I woke up the next day, I was terrified by what I saw. I found myself in a cemetery, sleeping between two graveyards. Panic surged through me, and I fled from that place as quickly as I could and drove back home. It took me a month to return to my normal life after this incident, though the experience still haunts me to this day, and I've never stayed out late at night since then.
Try to bury him alive or something, man? It's too trusting.
The equatorial
Okay.
sun dips low on the Kenyan horizon, casting long, spectral shadows among the stone ruins of an ancient city. This is Gedi, a silent and deserted testament to a civilization that has long since passed into the annals of time. Our journey takes us into the labyrinthine alleys, once bustling with the life and chatter of Swahili culture. Now, only the whispering wind moves through the abandoned structures, carrying with it a chilling echo of laughter that once filled these streets. As we venture deeper, are you starting to feel the shivers of unease? Can you hear the whispers of the past? Drop a comment below and let us know. In the heart of the city, under the skeletal remains of what was once a grand palace, reports tell of spectral sightings. Phantom figures, their forms vague and blurred by the ravages of time, seem to stand guard over their long-forgotten home. The air is dense with unseen energy, as though the very spirits of the past still linger, locked in an eternal dance with the ruins. The myths of the locals tell tales of the jinn, supernatural beings born of smokeless fire, acting as the ethereal sentinels of this abandoned city. And then there's the laughter, a disembodied sound that seems to hang in the still air. A joyous echo from an era long past, yet it brings an unsettling feeling of being watched, of intruding on a space where ancient specters continue their ageless existence. As we draw our exploration to a close, under the vast, starlit African sky, one cannot help but feel a profound sense of connection with the spectral denizens of Gedi. The chilling whispers, ghostly figures, and inexplicable laughter serve as a reminder that, in some places, the past refuses to be forgotten. As the haunting image of Gedi ruins fades from your screen, tell us, would you dare to visit this ancient, spectral city after dark? Could you brave the whispers of the past and the laughter of unseen specters?
No!
Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling explorations into the world's most haunted places.
I don't think I could. That's a no for me. Too much bad energy over there. Dang, they file their teeth. It's like every, you can culture do things differently, man. But to file their teeth and say that was a sign of beauty. How can you do that? That must hurt, bro. You filing all your teeth like that. Oof. The more you know, man. What the? Oh no, I hit the jets, but we out. What the hell was that follow? I'm hitting the jets.
There lived a little boy called Kofi. He was as mischievous as he was curious. Kofi often pushed the boundaries set by his parents. Parents would gather their little ones around the fire recounting the story of the Washaka. It spoke of a mysterious creature, a fearsome being from the depths of hell that prowled in the darkness, seeking out disobedient children. The tale was passed down through generations, a cautionary reminder of the importance of obedience and respect. Unbeknownst to Kofi, his disobedient ways had caught the attention of the Washaka. The creature watched from the shadows, its presence concealed by the darkness. Late one night, as Kofi snuck out of his home, the creature materialized before him, its eyes burning like embers in the night. Kofi froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The Washaka spoke with a voice that resonated through the night. It recounted the tales of disobedient children who had crossed its path, only to face dire consequences for their actions. With each word, Kofi's fear transformed into remorse. He saw the pain and disappointment his own actions had caused his parents. The Washaka vanished into the night, leaving behind a sense of responsibility and a newfound understanding of the importance of obedience. From that day forward, Kofi became a changed boy. He listened and followed attentively to his parents' guidance and wisdom.
Gotcha. Shapeshifter confirmed.
Please listen to me when I say that today's case is a current investigation and it is disturbing and ongoing. So if you don't want to listen to something that might distress you, please just skip this. It's okay.
Seek the truth over
2
here.
weeks ago, a horrific discovery was made in the Shakola forest in Kenya. There was a mass grave filled with 90 corpses, the majority of which were children. There were so many bodies that the police had to stagger the search for them, as the local morgues were just getting overcrowded and full. And so the authorities had to reach out to the Kenya Red Cross for refrigerated containers to store the bodies as they waited in line for an autopsy. The grim discovery, understandably, has totally shocked Kenya, but things got worse when they learned why this mass grave occurred. The dead, wrapped in cotton shrouds, had belonged to a strange cult in Kenya, which cult leader Paul Mackenzie Nathenge led. He had taught his followers that the only way to meet with God truly was by starving oneself to death. Now, this sort of twisted teaching is even more shocking when investigators have subsequently learned that Nathenge and his fellow leaders were eating and drinking as normal, urging their followers to fast until they died of hunger, while the leaders ate on. These kids were starved, often at the urging of their own parents, who had become convinced that it was the only way for them to escape the turmoil of this world and to meet with their creator. This cult, by the way, is called Good News International Church. It's a kind of pseudo-Christian cult, and it had a sickening hierarchy to this. They taught that the children had to starve themselves to death first, then the women, and then finally the men would follow. Hence why over half of the bodies were children, and most of the rest were women. And so 34 members of this cult were found alive in the forest, which is near the coastal town of Malindi. Some of them were just hiding in the bushes and were close to death after following the teachings of their leader. Now, the president of Kenya, a guy called William Ruto, vowed to crack down on these rogue and dangerous cults. And like I say, people are just traumatized and horrified. Now, the leader, this Paul Mackenzie Nathenge, was a former taxi driver who then became a televangelist and founded this cult in 2003. Now, he had already been arrested back in 2017 for urging parents not to send their children to school because he believed that education was unbiblical. And he was arrested again last month after 2 children starved themselves to death while being looked after by their cult member parents.
How'd he get out?
Now, this happened 2 weeks ago, like I said. But since then, new details have emerged because investigators have uncovered more to this case. Firstly, the death rate has rose since then. Now it's 133, and they're expecting that figure to rise again. But the autopsies on all those bodies, so not all of them, but a lot of them I think, have been completed, and they've revealed something. Starvation does appear to be the leading cause of death, but some of the victims, including the children, were murdered and beaten, strangled and suffocated. What's more, the autopsy revealed that the children had missing organs, which means that this cult was harvesting the children's organs to sell.
For money.
Believe it or not, the human body organ trade does actually exist. Sometimes they're sold for religious purposes, with claims that body parts, particularly of children, can have magical or healing properties. As for this cult leader behind all of this, Paul Nathenge, well, he was granted bail last Thursday.
How?
However, prosecutors are pleading for him to be held in custody until the investigation is complete.
Yeah.
I'll watch this story and keep an eye on it and let you know of any significant updates, but I just thought it was remarkable enough and sad enough to bring to your attention that these things happen. Well, if you want more spooky, strange, and well, I guess disturbing stories like this, you can follow me on TikTok, or check out my Scary True Stories show, Frightful. It's a podcast. It's available all over the place for free. I've just finished an episode all about imaginary friends, and that explores the paranormal and supernatural elements of that. Or if you're into reading, then you can maybe check out some of my books on Amazon. Just search Peter Laws. Thanks.
That was a freaking sickening case, man. Tell you, man, when people get wrapped up in a cult, in a group like that, they'll do anything, man, that they say. Like I said, it's scary how that type of person, they can have an influence on your life like that, and you just follow every word they say to the T, man. We learning out here today, Seekers. You know, this world is a cruel place. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, follow me on my social medias. Links are in the description down below, man, so we always stay connected. Hit that like button, man, if you guys enjoyed this video, man. Also, man, tell me if you guys are enjoying this different styles of TikToks that I'm trying to bring to you guys. You know, just trying to switch it up. Like I said, man, do daily uploads for the rest of this month, man. But like I said, going into the August, it might change, but thank you guys for joining me on my journey. We're gonna blow up. We're gonna take off in this algorithm. I believe it. Hopefully, you guys believe it too. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here and if you guys don't know what we do, man, let me explain it to you, man. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, watching the videos entirely, hitting that post notification bell so you always get notified when I drop it, and hitting that like button, man. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping us push us into the algorithm by doing those 3 simple steps. Greatly appreciate it. Found this video for you guys today, Seekers. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
Brave man whose life was taken while he tried to protect his family at the Trump campaign rally. On July 13th, the 50-year-old Corey Comprador, his wife and 2 daughters attended the rally in Pennsylvania where Trump was speaking. The family sat on the stand right behind Trump when less than 10 minutes into the speech, the shooting began, and while Trump was hit in the right ear, 3 other people were also hit. David Dutch and James Copenhaver. They were in critical condition but are expected to recover. Unfortunately, 50-year-old Corey did lose his life while he tried to protect his family. His wife Helen and his 2 daughters said that he died a hero, and the last words that he said to them was to get down before he threw them to the floor and covered them. Corey worked as a project and tooling engineer and was a firefighter of the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company. After this tragic and sad incident, over $4.7 million has been donated to the victims, with Elon Musk donating $100,000 as well as Dana White and Kim Rock.
What's the most dangerous place on Earth?
Number 8
is Lake Natron in Tanzania. The lake's so alkaline, animals get mummified. 7, Morgan Island, off the coast of South Carolina, 4,000 monkeys all infected with the herpes B virus. 6 is Mexico's giant crystal cave, 1,000 feet underground. Cave is 113 degrees Fahrenheit and 100% humidity. 5, Oymyakon, Russia. It's the coldest town on Earth, reaching minus 50 degrees. Number 4, Runnet Island. In the 70s, U.S. government buried radioactive plutonium. Number 3, the K2 Summit, most inhospitable mountain summit in the world. Number 2 is Snake Island, an island full of thousands of poisonous snakes. It's illegal to go here. Number 1 is North Sentinel Island, home to the indigenous people who have violently rejected contact with the outside world. So much so, if you even get close, they'll swim out to you and try to kill you.
I think the one that got to me the most was that freaking the island with the monkeys that said they had herpes. What the hell? They got a whole island to themselves, man. Please don't tell me people actually, attempted to try to go to that monkey island, man. They did, bro. They're just out of their minds if they even attempt that. That it.
This priest tied himself to 1,000 colorful helium balloons and then was found in the ocean months later. On April 20th, 2008, 41-year-old Father Adiller DeCarli wanted to raise money to build a chapel in his hometown, so he chose to tie himself up to 1,000 helium balloons and float over the ocean. He also hoped to break the previous 19-hour record, but unfortunately, things ended tragically. On the morning of April 20th, Father Adiller was fully repaired to take off, and for safety reasons he put on a helmet, waterproof coveralls, and an aluminum thermal flight suit, as well as a GPS tracker and a radio to communicate with people on the ground. Only a few hours after taking off, despite the radio and GPS tracker, Father Adiller disappeared and could not be located. The last thing that he said through the radio was that he was losing height and was going to land in the ocean. Search and rescue teams were immediately dispatched, and after 2 days they found the colorful balloons in the sea off Brazil's southeast coast, but Father Adiller was not there. Then, a few months later, a body was found in the ocean, which turned out to be him. It was reported that the priest had reached an altitude of 20,000 feet and then was blown off course by the strong winds, causing his tragic death.
Here are some things that are...
That's like basically the Up movie, more using all those balloons floating in the air. That wind threw them off course, bro. I'm like, man, I wouldn't even attempt to do something like that, see, because that's just way too dangerous. These people are risk takers.
They're completely normal during the day, but really creepy at night. Digging holes in your backyard. I mean, it's your backyard, and you're entitled to do whatever you want to it, but if I see you digging some holes in the middle of the night, I'm gonna be really concerned. Bonus creepy points if you have some trash bags next to you, too. I feel bad for people who work graveyard shifts or are night owls, because it makes it difficult to do any gardening or landscaping without looking pretty creepy. They say a child's laughter is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world, but not if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Scary movies have absolutely ruined the sound of a child laughing for me, because most instances, I'm gonna assume the worst. And for some reason, little girls laughing are even more scary. Like, imagine being in the woods camping and you hear some little girl laughing in the distance. My brain isn't gonna think, oh cool, some family must be camping near us. No, I'm gonna think that I'm gonna get murdered or possessed by some demon. Someone knocking on your door during the day, it's annoying. Who the fuck is showing up at my house unannounced? It must be a salesman or, worse, Mormons. That same knock at 3 in the morning? No, I'm getting murdered for sure. I'm on the 2nd floor, and my only way out is to jump out the window, so I'm done for.
People just saw not one, but 2 great white sharks feasting on a humpback whale carcass off the coast of Cape Cod. And I bet you don't know why they need just so much food. The great white shark, or Carcharodon carcharias, can eat over 66 pounds of blubber in just one sitting, enough to sustain it for over a month. Great white sharks need to eat between 3 and 5% of their body weight every single day, meaning the largest members of their species could easily eat over 80 pounds of food a day. In large part, it's due to their biology. The great white shark can exceed lengths of 20 feet, weigh over 5,000 pounds, swim at about 35 miles an hour, and up to 50 miles a day. They are actually the largest macropredatory fish in the ocean and belong to a very unique family known as Lambdidae in the order Lamniformes, or mackerel sharks. In the family Lambdidae, there are 3 amazing genera, one including Carcharodon, or the great white, another which is known as Ischurus, including both the short and long fin mako, the fastest sharks in the ocean, and the lamna containing possibly the cutest shark in the ocean, known as the salmon shark and the porbeagle. What makes these sharks especially unique and also makes them a more effective predator than many other sharks is that they're regionally endothermic. Just like you and I, they can actually warm their own body without relying on ambient water temperature to heat and cool themselves. This basically allows them to outperform other shark species that don't have that biological function that live in the same cold waters that they often occupy.
So they like freaking evolving into a super predator seekers. We seen evolution like right in front of our eyes, man. They eat like 60 pounds of blubber. Do you guys know how much that is? Tap in with us, you're gonna learn. That's a dead it. Call it like we see it, man.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Guys believe about the phones?
There's actually 5 different ways a snake can move. Holy hell! One where it moves in a straight line, or shifting the weight from front to back. Third one's just a normal slither, sidewinder. There's actually even a flying snake. Flatten its body to glide through the air. Flattened snake body provides enough lift to glide down safely from the tall trees of Indonesia.
A flying snake.
I
What the
went swimming
hell?
with sharks, nearly ended up in the hospital, and not for any reason you think. Shout out to Nat Geo for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna change the way you look at sharks in less than 60 seconds. Let's get it. The author of Jaws, Peter Benchley, not only did he regret writing the book because of all the bad PR to sharks, he would dedicate the rest of his life to shark conservation. If Jaws were written today, the shark would be the victim. The Greenland shark is a slow-burn glacier guppy that can not only live for up to 400 years, they don't hit baby-making age until 150. 150, dude, and still young. Now, there's more than 500 types of sharks, so it's easy to miss one, like the chain cat shark, which happens to glow in the dark that's biofluorescence. The epaulet is a shark that disrespects the natural order by walking, using pelvic and pectoral fins to move around during low tide. Sharks use a type of camouflage called countershading, meaning if you're above them, they blend into the dark abyss, but if you're below them, their light underbelly gets lost in the light of the sky. When you've been around longer than trees, nature gives you perks like that's Anthony Mackie. It is, and he and Ross Edgley and many more will be a part of National Geographic's Shark Fest airing on Disney Plus and Hulu. Check it out if you're ready to see sharks be anything but the bad guy. Oh, that's right. Well, I wasn't lying. The sharks are fine, but the ocean slammed me against the bars of the cage like it owed me money. So, moral of the story, I'm not afraid of sharks, just the ocean around it.
Creepy facts I bet you didn't know, part 1. Your lips and anus are connected by the same tube. 90% of serial killers choose their victims by sexual desire. Your organs move freely around your body. Crows used to follow armies to feed on dead bodies. Human sacrifice was a real thing in Aztec Mexico.
The more you know. Is that, I guess, where crows got the sign meaning from? Those like crows mean death or something like that. That makes
Creepy
sense.
last words people said right before dying. A nice old lady told a CNA that she wanted to wear all white. When asked why, she said the man in black is here. She looked in the corner of the room. The CNA looked, but there was no one there. That's when the nurse came into the room. They asked her to describe what she was seeing, and she said he's in all black, and he's got a top hat on. And then she whispered, and his eyes are red. While her eyes moved across the room to directly behind the CNA, like she was watching him move closer to them. She died later that night, but it was unexpected. That room creeped the nurse and the CNA out for a long time after that.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When Gerardo Mendina turned 18 years old, his mom, Lena, was 23, meaning she had her son at just 5 years old, making her the youngest mother ever. Sudden adult death syndrome is the thing, where your heart just stops seemingly for no reason, like a cardiac arrest, except no cardiac arrest can be detected. So dementia is what they say when there's symptoms of a decline in thinking skills and memory loss, and Alzheimer's is the disease that can cause it. And signs that you might grow up and have this can be detected as early as 3 years old. Not just that though, the symptoms too. Alzheimer's and dementia in children exists, meaning that anybody at any age can completely lose their mind and become a husk of themselves.
Scared to think about. Doesn't Chris Hemsworth have that? That's why I could take a break from acting.
Saw Kids That Terrified Us, Part 2. This is the movie Coraline. It's about an 11-year-old girl named Caroline Jones and her parents who move into an old mansion. Caroline then meets a kid named Whitey, who gives her a button-eyed rag doll, which looks exactly like her. Caroline then finds a small door in her living room, which can only be unlocked by a button-shaped key. After she unlocks it and goes in, she enters a completely different world and meets her other mother and father with buttons as eyes. Caroline then keeps going to this different world. The other mother then wants Caroline to stay in this world forever, but she has to get buttons sewed on her eyes. But Caroline does not want to do that and she wants to leave. Her other mother then transforms into a menacing, scary version of herself. The other mother then kidnaps Caroline's real parents, and this is where the movie gets crazy. So, if you've never seen this movie, I recommend go watching it right now.
Caroline movie. Imagine kids walking into that thing. It was just gonna be a nice, fun movie. No, it wasn't. Scary,
Weird
bro.
fact of the day. The idea that ghosts look like this, where they're kind of translucent and float, is extremely recent, and it came about for an extremely specific reason. And I think it's really fascinating because it gets to how human culture is formed. Now, almost every culture in history has ghosts, and they show up in a million different ways. In some cases, they come back and possess animals, or they possess people, or they show up and they can only be seen at night. But prior to the 19th century, they were never described as this. They either just looked like normal, solid people. In some stories, the ghosts would physically attack you, or they would open doors or break down doors. And while they had the ability to disappear or suddenly appear in a room, they were never described like this. Until this invention came along. Back in the early 1800s, before cinema, when people were extremely bored, they invented this device which could project a still image onto a screen. And this gave rise to horror shows called phantasmagoria, where the audience would gather in a darkened room and a screen would be lowered and they would project onto the screen skeletons and monsters and all sorts of other scary things. But because of the technical limitations of the technology, they could only be portrayed as floating. They couldn't walk around the floor. And because of the screen and the projector, they were always translucent. And according to this book by Susan Owens, The Ghost, A Cultural History, it was only after those shows became popular that you started to see the translucent ghost turn up in stories. This was also around the time of the dawn of photography, and then back then, because of the technology, you used to have to sit perfectly still for a very long time for it to develop properly on the film. This is why people rarely smiled in those photos. You couldn't hold a smile for several minutes. If you got up early or if you moved, it would accidentally create this ghostly image, and it did not take long for photographers to start selling ghost captured on film pictures. And from then on, when people claimed to see a ghost in their home, they would see this, the thing from the phantasmagoria, the floating, translucent spirit. I feel like this is incredibly important to understand. Not only did media influence and totally alter our concept of what a human soul or spirit looked like, but a physical and technical limitation in that media did it. But 500 years from now, people will probably still be seeing this kind of ghost because of it.
Terrifying facts,
What do you guys think, man? He really broke down the ghost origins of how it all started off because of a tech glitch, yeah. Because of a tech glitch, because the technology was limited. It was basically on film, man. And the influence of how we see ghosts today. Think about it. One little mistake, man. Influence history. But think about it.
never knew. If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now, your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if it did, they would attack your eyeballs until you can no longer ever see. This is because your eyeballs have a protein in them called crystalline. that doesn't exist anywhere else in your body. So if your immune system found out and checked them out, it would be like, something's wrong here. Studies show that most serial killers are born in November. Today's high school students have the same anxiety levels as insane asylum patients had in the 1950s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my anxiety might be up there too. There's a disease called fatal familial insomnia, where people suddenly one day lose their ability to fall asleep, which leads them to slowly go insane. They can't distinguish dreams from reality anymore and go into some type of paranoia. It becomes so severe that they eventually die. Those that make it to the final stage and don't die usually end up in a vegetative state, no longer conscious. And it can happen to any one of you. About 3,000 people go missing every year in the United States. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977. This was in France. And also that was the same year the first Star Wars movie came out. You are always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. In 2011, Anatoly Yakovlevich was arrested for having 12 dolls in his apartment. Only problem is, they weren't normal dolls. They were recently deceased little girls that had been dug up and dressed to be put on display. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted this to 4chan. It said, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It only took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch that he worked at, and he was fired. You really never know what people are doing to your food. H.H. Holmes was a serial killer who built a torture hotel in the 19th century. He had secret rooms with gas chambers, trap doors, and stairs that led to nowhere. He loved to play with his victims' minds. It was almost like a real-life Saw movie. There's a bridge in Scotland called the Overtoun Bridge, and for some reason, dogs keep jumping off of it at the same spot. Yeah, they just jump to their deaths. Experts can't figure out why either. Some people speculate it's a magnetic field, or maybe a frequency that only they can hear. But others believe it's something supernatural. But whatever is making dogs jump off that bridge to their deaths is still to this day unexplained. Joe Matheny was an infamous serial killer who not only cooked his victims to eat for himself, but also made them into burgers, using their remains. He then sold them to unsuspecting customers from a roadside food stand. We really never know what we eat. I'm cooking all my food myself. Because why don't we eat over people's house? In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. In that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s. Be honest, would you move out? In 1978, there was a pilot named Frederick Valentin. Him and his plane disappeared in Australia. His last communication was, "Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering above me again." It is hovering and it is not an aircraft. This is a mugshot of William West and William West. Oh, and they're not related at all, but they were both sent to Leavenworth Prison at the exact same time in 1903. And after some confusion, the staff finally figured it out. They were two different people who had the exact same name and looked identical. This was said to be one of the main reasons why we now use fingerprints to identify somebody. There's biotech being developed as we speak that can make prisoners feel they are serving an 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. That's horrifying. Imagine thinking you spent 1,000 years somewhere, and then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyways, like this video if you want a part 2.
Those are the facts, man. They always get to me. Especially about the one, man. How they spending all that time together. All that time, man, they could just simulate. Makes you wonder what else they got in the works, man. If they have something like that is capable, what else they hiding from us seekers? It really gets my brain turning, man. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, follow me on my social medias down below. Link is in the description so we always can stay connected. Comment down below, man, what do you guys think of these videos, these clips that I found for you guys today, man. Also, man, please hit that like button, man, to push us into this algorithm, man. We're going to explode one day, man, but I appreciate the support we have now. We're just going to keep building that momentum, and it's going to take off. Like I said, also, comment down below, man, if you guys want me to make a Discord so you guys can send me clips and stuff that maybe that you guys have found that you guys want me to check out. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. Let's check this out. Lab-grown meat.
Your fake lab-grown meat elsewhere. We're not doing that in the state of Florida. That's the message behind the bill Governor DeSantis signed Wednesday. It takes aim at meat grown by scientists in a lab, making it a crime to manufacture or sell cultivated meat in Florida. What they want to say is this is the same as raising cattle and doing it naturally, then there's no reason that you have this industry. So it is designed to represent a threat to agriculture as we know it. And supporters say the new law offers protections to Florida's cattle industry.
It's never been more important than today to protect Florida's farmers and ranchers, and that's what this legislation does.
But opponents say concerns about lab-grown meat are overblown. Federal regulators have already said some products are safe and ready to eat after receiving FDA approval last year, a point made by cultivated meat industry members during the legislative session.
Cultivated meat is safe, period. We make our chicken with a safe process in a safe environment, and USDA inspectors are on site during operations at all times, from beginning to end.
Others have argued this law threatens the free market and is too short-sighted.
Bro!
Hell no, man. I think that should be everywhere, bro. I don't want to eat no lab-grown meat. I want it to be natural, man. Now, see, because we got to watch what we eat nowadays, man, because the meat, it's fake. We don't know what's real or fake, man. They ain't telling us this. That's why you got to tap in with us, man. You're going to learn some things.
Why is it that once people get clout, they always become weird? If you don't know who this guy is, his name is Dr. Disrespect, and he was one of the biggest streamers on Twitch back in 2020. But he ended up randomly getting banned, and people were curious as to why that is. Fast forward 4 years later, we know why. And it was because he was they not like us, they not like us, they not like us.
Damn.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophile, whack, 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 whack. Twitch banned him up. Yeah, so the story was, he tried to link with a minor at TwitchCon, and he was messaging her through Whispers, which is private chat on Twitch pretty much. But it's not that private because the staff clocked it and then they banned him. And they really spared bro for like 4 years straight. But once the information broke, he lost all of his sponsorships. And to make matters worse, he came out and confirmed it himself. Bro said, yeah, I messaged her, but that doesn't make me a predator. Dude, you're like 40 years old. If you talk to a minor in a freaky way, what do you expect is going to happen?
That's crazy, man. Especially with the Dr. Disrespect, man. Some more info came on yesterday. I heard, I don't know if it was rumor, it was confirmed. It was like how he might have gotten arrested or something yesterday, but they really never confirmed that. But like I said, it's crazy. When people get that type of clout level and power, they just think they can do anything and everything, man. And he did it on a Twitch Whispers on his main account. Your Dr. Disrespect. So if he knew there had to be some outcome if that would have ever leaked and got out, like you said, it seemed like Twitch, they spared him for like 4 years, because if that would have came out, the reason why he got banned, he would have been lost everything. So that's just a crazy situation. What's this?
There's only one I want. I love you, Pookie, forever.
How do you get over a breakup?
Only way to get over one is get under another. Take the cobwebs off this thing.
Don't miss.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give it that hawk to it. Spit on that thing.
What the? Okay, so I had to check that hot tour meme because it's been blown up everywhere. This is my first time seeing this, so I heard that they even tried to like sign her to a freaking talent agency. That's freaking crazy, man. That one thing just blew up. It's everywhere. I wonder what her father and her family thinks about that. That's now, it's going viral. It's everywhere. What do you guys think about the hot tour girl, bro? If you was in her family, man, what would you say there right now? That's it, man. For this video is for you guys today. You guys can catch it in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.